This is why chimpanzees are smarter than you think. Chimpanzees are our closest living wild animal relatives, which is why they have been studied for so long. We know loads about these fascinating primates, but there is still much more to discover. Today's video looks at the most amazing aspects of chimps, including their physiology, sociability, and intelligence. We can guarantee that by the end, you'll have a newfound appreciation for how awesome and smart they are. So sit back and enjoy as we talk about our remarkable cousin, the chimpanzee. Thinking ape. Chimps are a great ape species native to various parts of Africa. Scientists call them pan-troglodytes, as they are one of two species in the pan genus, along with bonobos. This genus is under the Hominidae family, alongside humans, gorillas, and orangutans. Fossil evidence suggests chimpanzees emerged around 8 million years ago during the late Miocene, after the pan line split off from the line leading to humans. Today, there are 4 chimpanzee subspecies and a possible 5th which is still being debated. There is the central chimpanzee of Central Africa, the western chimpanzee from West Africa, the eastern chimp from East Africa, and the Nigerian Cameroon chimp. The debatable 5th subspecies is the southeastern chimp, but those who argue against its status as a subspecies assert that it is just a part of the eastern chimpanzee populations. Like most hominids, excluding humans of course, chimps are knuckle walkers that primarily use all 4 of their limbs to move from point A to B on the ground. Of course, they can walk on 2 feet, but for relatively short periods. Their lower limbs have thumb-like big toes, making their feet look like hands. These feet work like hands too, and they are just as nimble and dexterous as our own hands. Using their 4 hands, chimpanzees can easily navigate the trees and live the arboreal lifestyle for which they are so renowned. Chimps spend half of their lives in trees, nesting and grooming, hunting and hooting, causing chaos, or just hanging around and bonding. All that exercise means these primates have incredible strength. Climbing and swinging among the branches is a full-body workout they engage in for a lifetime, so it's no wonder they are so strong. A chimp's grip and arm power can tear a human's arms off like a Barbie doll's. Chimps also have very high endurance levels. They can travel miles and miles in search of food and nesting sites, which is why they need and have such remarkable cardio fitness. While their physical abilities are truly amazing, we also cannot overlook another of chimps' fascinating traits: their sociability. Chimpanzees have more advanced and complex social systems than most other animals, with only elephants, whales, and other primates being comparable. They typically live in large groupings known as fusions, which are made up of smaller, more intimate subgroups known as fissions. A fusion can have up to 150 chimps, while fissions are seldom larger than 5 or 6 individuals. However, no 2 fissions or fusions are ever alike, thanks to the diversity of personalities in the groups, as well as differences in experiences. Unlike most hierarchical animals, which use a simple ladder ranking system, chimpanzees have something similar to a class system. That's right, some fissions rank higher than others. And chimps from similarly ranked fissions socialize with each other more than chimps from far superior or inferior fissions. This class system also has great influences on mate selection, just as it often does with humans. Chimp society is deeply political, and power is always up for grabs. Most other non-human great apes have more rigid societies which are more settled and less prone to violence. Like humans, chimpanzees are complicated, and things like jealousy, revenge, and a penchant for drama often play a role in shaking things up socially. The chimpanzee lives in something of a warrior society that values strength and opportunism. A whole lot of agendas are always at play, and some chimps have been known to spend years plotting coups or territorial takeovers. Though lovey-dovey with family, friends, and tribe mates, chimps are brutally ruthless to rivals and outsiders. These apes often raid neighboring tribes and have been known to murder chimps, kidnap babies, and even engage in cannibalism. When it comes to violence, chimps bite, scratch, pull, push, and everything in between. They can even throw stones or stomp victims, and even use sticks to beat or stab enemies. Chimps will even try to push each other off branches or ledges to cause dangerous falls. It's clear that supreme intelligence allows chimps to have such imagination and adaptability for violence. The only creature that can surpass the chimp's diverse ability for harm is the human being, which shares 99.8% of its DNA with these brutal apes. This begs the question, is the capacity for stomach-churning violence a nasty side effect of supreme intelligence? It's a scary thought that we might explore deeper in a future video. All we can do for now is be glad that chimps don't have access to firearms or bombs, otherwise the jungle would be in serious trouble. Of course, chimpanzees have a complicated relationship with their home environments too. In some cases, they are prey, in many, the predator. As prey, they have to worry about big cats, birds of prey, pythons, and even humans. Juveniles are especially vulnerable to wild predators, as adults are formidable and can usually defend themselves or escape quickly. As predators, chimps go after insects, birds, bird eggs, lizards, snakes, rodents, monkeys, antelope, and even other chimpanzees. Given the differences in group personalities, environments, and so on, different chimp groups operate differently. For instance, some chimp groups are more peaceful and quiet, preferring diets rich in plant materials and fruits and maybe the odd bit of ant or termite protein. Other groups are much more active hunters, going after monkeys or antelope more often. Such diversity between chimp groups has even been used as proof of chimpanzees having varying cultures. Some groups have even been documented hunting and eating people, with young children being primary victims. Apparently, chimps eat human kids the same way they eat monkeys, limbs first, then guts. So, apart from eating each other, how is the relationship between humans and chimps? Well, as you'll probably guess, complicated. Humans have been captivated and fascinated with these animals since time immemorial. We study them as much as, if not more than, any other animal, mainly because of how closely they are related to us. A lot of the scientific research we involve them in helps us push the boundaries of what we know about them and ourselves. And a lot of that study is related to the chimp's mind-boggling intelligence. So, just how smart are chimpanzees? Well, pretty smart. We can clearly see how this great intelligence facilitates their fascinating social dynamics. Outside of violence, chimpanzees are very loving and social animals. They spend long periods hanging out with their close family and friends. They even have a concept of best friends, and many of these friendships can last a lifetime and beyond. Chimps have been proven to remember old family members and friends from imagery like photographs or videos. Long dead or separated loved ones can trigger emotional responses like happiness or deep longing and lament, just like in humans. They also display traits like favoritism, which can manifest in saving food or nests with favored chimps. Research has also shown that they can even keep secrets from one another. Empathy is another telltale sign of the extent of chimp intelligence. They can relate to the joy, pain, or even grief other chimps may be experiencing. In fact, chimps can even empathize with other animals like dogs and even humans, going even as far as offering comforting hugs or food depending on the situation. More recently, scientists have confirmed another amazing part of chimp brain power: photographic memory. Chimps can remember faces, places, and symbols for a long time, even if only exposed briefly. The general theory behind this incredible memory is the need to carefully navigate their complicated home habitats without getting lost, as well as the need to remember social dynamics with over 100 other chimps. Scientists are quickly running out of memory tests to throw at them because they ace them all. Even the scientists who set up some of these tests can't complete them as well or as quickly as their chimpanzee subjects, which is just mind-blowing. These primates live in some of nature's deepest and largest forests and jungles, places where a photographic memory is useful for saving one from getting lost. They can navigate the woods as effortlessly as a taxi driver navigates city streets and avenues. They don't need a phone with map apps on it because they have a built-in memory vault updated by experience. In addition to photographic memory, we now know that chimps have self-awareness. A chimp can identify its own reflection in a mirror, something which is pretty rare for animals. What's even more impressive is that a chimp can remember its own likeness even after more than a year without using a mirror. Language is another big aspect of their intelligence. Not only do chimps have a complex communication system among themselves, they can also learn different kinds of cross-species communication. Chimps have been taught basic sign language for decades, and this is one of the primary ways researchers and animal handlers talk to them. Chimps have also been trained to walk dogs using the leash to communicate commands to the pooches. We also spoke about culture earlier. Chimpanzees in different locales can have totally different approaches to life, from preferred dietary staples, foraging techniques, hunting strategies, and tool implementation. These ways of life are generally shared with fellow group members and passed down the generations, just like with human culture. Tool use and resourcefulness are other signs of how smart they are. Sticks, stones, and plant matter are often sourced, slightly modified, and used as tools to harvest termites or honey, hard-to-reach objects, crushing shells, or to make weapons. Most of these tools are pretty basic, but there is no denying the conceptualization and reasoning behind their use. Chimps also have a great knowledge of natural life hacks. They know and understand medicinal herbs and other longevity tools in the wild. In fact, chimps have even been documented using maggots and certain ants to clean wounds to minimize the risk of infection. Clearly, there is a lot going on in the head and mind of the average chimpanzee, and you get the feeling that science is nowhere near finding out the true limits of the chimpanzee's wonderful brain power.